Are we doing this? Guess we're doing this. All right. Hey guys, it's Tomi from Good to Meet Ya. I am a full-time content creator at goodtomeetya.com where I talk about style, skincare, and influencer tips. But today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Yeah, let's just get into it. So I had an MS relapse. I am having an MS relapse currently, still kind of going through it. I have multiple sclerosis, if you guys are new here, and it's something that I have talked about occasionally. I've shared on my blog, which I'll definitely link below. Guys, I'm nervous. I'm nervous. Why? Because I do talk about it, and I do share about what it really, kind of like how it affects my life, but it has been a very different experience than what I'm currently going through. But I will back up to give some kind of context. So when I was first diagnosed, it was in 2018, so just, 3 years ago, and I was living in San Francisco at the time. I was doing an internship for grad school, and pretty much like in the last couple of weeks, really, and I woke up one day, rolled out of bed, and like stumbled out of bed because I couldn't feel my legs. And at the time I was like, oh, I just must have slept weird, that's odd. Got in the shower, and I remember feeling like, this is so weird that like I can see the water going down my body but like not feeling it. I don't know why. Again, if that happens to you guys, it's not a normal thing, but I didn't even really do anything until the following day, where I woke up and it had started to like move up my body. So at first it was just like from my hips down, and then now it had kind of moved to about to the bottom of my rib cage. So I called my mom and I was like, what the heck, what's going on? She told me to go to the ER, did some stuff at the ER, but I didn't really do anything. And she was like, no, you need to come home because it's like moving up. So flew back home after doing a bunch of tests and stuff, surrounded by my family. I found out that I have multiple sclerosis at the age of 23. And I remember feeling so scared because at the time I only knew one other person who had MS, and from what I recalled, they had been in a wheelchair for at least 20 years. And I think they're probably closer to like their 50s, 60s now. And so I was just in shock that someone who was younger could have the disease. And what does that even look like in terms of like my quality of life? Like, I was about to get this great job at a tech company. I was about to get married. I was really trying to like take off with my own influencer career. So it was very much in a spiral of, and it came to like a screeching halt of, okay, I need to figure out what the heck is going on with my life. And I was scared. I didn't want to feel like this would become my entire identity, and I didn't want to feel like I'd become a burden to people. And I just kept thinking like, this is the weirdest feeling to mentally feel like I'm at the top of my game and doing whatever, and having all these like physical hindrances being in my 20s. It was something that I kind of had to take time and like mourn the loss of that before even being like, okay, let me get into this, like I'm ready now, let me go ahead and figure out what I need to do. And so I did that. It took me about 2 weeks at home of like having to relearn how to walk because I had issues with like my muscle rigidity. I had like numbness and tingling in my hands and stuff when I was first diagnosed in California, and as I was in the hospital and like getting better, like I also had all these other things happen of just like intense pain and whatever. And it wasn't until like 6 weeks later that I think I felt like I could leave my apartment and not be too scared that I wouldn't be able to like make it by myself or something like that. And then since that moment, I knew I had to take stuff easier, knew that I might look like a 20-year-old, normal, like 20-something on the outside, but I still had a chronic illness and I had to readjust my life to that. So that meant that I cannot just be go, 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 that I need to take more breaks, that I need to have a lot more patience with myself, that it might take me some time to get things done. And that was just the reality of it. And so I think within these past couple of years, people have always asked me like, oh, well, how is your MS? Like, will you talk about it more? And I felt like I didn't want to take up space in the community and share all this stuff when it wasn't something that was necessarily hindering like my everyday life, because I felt like, oh, if I'm not having intense active symptoms, then, you know, it's not worth me sharing. But I think the fact that I still had to like readjust stuff shows that I don't have the typical health of a 20-something-year-old or whatever. And so like, just because I was not in constant pain doesn't mean that I'm still not dealing with brain fog or fatigue or, you know, those muscle spasms and things like that. And so with the relapse, basically, well, let me also explain what is multiple sclerosis. How about I start there, huh? So multiple sclerosis is a disease that affects the central nervous system, and it can kind of also be classified as an autoimmune disease because there are these myelin sheaths that cover your nerves, and your body for some reason is kind of freaking out and it's like, what the heck? I don't recognize this sheath, and it attacks itself. And so once the damage is done to that nerve, it leaves behind these little lesions on your brain and on your spinal cord. And those are the things that affect all of the muscles in your body. So that's why MS, it's like all muscular issues of, you know, everything from your pain and your back and spine and stuff to like bowel movements. Like, it really can just affect everything. And it can be degenerative, and there isn't a cure. But through a lot of modern medicine, I am thankful that we have treatments and medications and stuff now that people 20 years ago did not have. And so quality of life is already like so much better. And so that's kind of where I am in this spot where it relapsed. There's not really a cause to know why. We could say that it's because I was doing a lot this summer. I traveled a lot. If you look back at a lot of photo videos and content, I was traveling.
No sleep. Bus. Club. Another club. Another club. Another club. Plane. Next place. No sleep. Another club.
I was in Atlanta. I was in, you know, Belize. I was in Jamaica. Doing a lot of blog things and doing great. And to be honest, it was not necessarily that out of character. Like, I travel and do a lot of stuff often. There were perhaps a little bit more breaks in between there than I did this summer, and so that could have been it, but there's really no way to know if that's what exacerbated it enough until I get my extra scans and all that stuff. But so now I'll have to try to figure out like best course of action in terms of like either new medications or whatever. It was just really very much like a wake-up call of remembering like, hey girl, you've got a chronic illness. You gotta keep that in mind. And I think another thing that's been really frustrating is with this relapse, like for every day, it's been like 2 steps forwards, 1 step back. And so I keep telling people, oh, I'm feeling great. And I'll text my friends or I'll share with you guys, followers, and say like, I'm doing so much better, I'm coming back. And then the following day I'll have like, you know, an intense muscle spasm thing where I'm crying in bed next to my husband at night because it's like so much. Or my entire body feels like TV static, just tingling all day. And then, you know, in the moments like right now, I was able to get a really good sleep. And while I can feel some intense fatigue setting in, I feel a lot better. And this is, I think we're at the end of week 3 now. So if I can keep this up for another 24, 48 hours, I think hopefully we'll be on the up and up. But it's just there are so many moving parts to this, and I know I'm not the only one who struggles with this. Other people who have chronic illnesses, like, it gets exhausting. Even if someone's like, well, how are you doing? Or like, hey, how's your back pain today? And I'll be like, oh great, my back feels so much better. But today it also feels like there's a 50-pound blanket on my chest. Or, you know, I'm having a really intense migraine. Or, you know, I am really in some trouble walking, but my back feels better. So it's like weird because I'm exhausted listing off all the things that are happening to me, so I feel like other people are, and I know that's not fair, and it doesn't make sense, because we should feel allowed to share what's going on with us without feeling like we're a burden to other people.
You good? No, you're not. You're not, baby, and it's okay. You're not good, and it's okay. You don't need to be good all the time. It's okay to not be good.
But I think culturally that's just something that can happen, but it's important that we, I think, do vocalize it, because it's going through ish. It's hard stuff and it sucks. I would not wish it on anyone, but with all those differences and challenges, it just kind of continues to make me thankful that I have this privilege. I do not take it for granted at all. And I think through like this entire relapse experience, it's made me I think I'm not getting emotional. It has made me really just like continue to be very thankful for it, because I have a job where I can work from home, and it's been hard because when I was first diagnosed, it was towards the end of the summer, like I said, and so and school wasn't starting back for another couple weeks, grad school. So I was able to like rest and like take off time without feeling like I was missing out on anything in the world, with work, with whatever, because there was no work. I wasn't full-time then, so I didn't feel like it's such a big deal to be not posting or creating stuff constantly. There were not a lot of ad campaigns where people were trying to check in on me and say, hey, you know, when can we get this ad up? And versus now, when I'm a full-ass adult, I have jobs, responsibilities, engagements, things that require my attention, and it feels like, because mentally I'm great, you know, for the most part every day, it's been more like physical issues for me right now, that I struggle with my mind being 100%, and then I can't work on my phone, because if I hold my phone like this, just texting or, you know, doing whatever for 20 minutes, then my hand will be stuck like this, like a little claw.
Who's in charge here?
And I have to pry it open. And of course, once it gets to that point where I'm prying my hands open because of like the muscle rigidity, then it's gonna hurt for the rest of the day. So I can either take the time to, you know, do basic hygiene on my body and eat and use my hands, or post an Instagram photo. So yeah, I'd probably go with the hygiene and eating some good food. So that's been what the struggle is feeling like, okay, I need to rest and sit here, but like, what am I gonna do? Just watch TV all day? It is very weird to feel so like in a vegetative state, and I'm 27 years old and going through these types of like health things. But again, I am so thankful that I do have the ability to do that with my job, and I can slowly work it in. I'm thankful that I have good health insurance, that I'm able to kind of navigate this whole system without thinking, how am I going to pay for it? It's more of just like, do I have the energy to hound down these insurance companies to get stuff done? But it's there. I do have that, you know, coverage. I'm thankful that I have healthcare professionals in my family that when I'm crying at night because of pain, or, you know, waiting for my doctor to call me back, I can call my family members and say, I'm scared, I don't know what to do, what's going on, without having to waste time going to an ER, especially right now during a pandemic, where I don't need to be like in extra stress of getting COVID on top of everything else. So I'm very much like aware of the privileges that come along with doing what I do, and having MS, because I know that it would look a lot differently if I did not. and to have such like supportive friends and family who just like get it, that I don't have to explain like I'm tired and then they say, oh, I'm tired too, when it's a very different type of fatigue. It's a different type of everything, of pain and whatnot. But I didn't want this video to just be a downer of this girl is going through it, because she is. I wanted it to be encouraging because I know that obviously I'm not the only person who has MS out there, who has chronic illnesses and stuff like going on with the world right now. And I wanted it to be of like, we are going through a lot of collective-ish right now. The world is crazy. I did not think that I would still be able to turn on the news every day and my mouth drop from stuff that I see, whether that's from the pandemic or, you know, strikes or, you know, different cases and stuff that I'm seeing. Like, it is a lot, and I just hope that all of you guys are also taking that grace and taking time for yourself to say, hey, you need to rest, listen to your body, and even if you think you're all good, you're good, you can push through. You need to be strong for yourself and knowing when it's that time. I saw a quote that said, taking time for yourself is productive. And for someone who is a constant workaholic, I think that was maybe the key that I needed to hear, to know that productivity doesn't have to mean that I'm actively doing something. It's productive to do something that focuses on you, because if you're not good, then nothing else is gonna go good, gonna go do well either. You have to find ways to, you can't pour from an empty cup, whatever the freaking saying is. You get what I'm saying. But we got this, you got this, we've got each other. I also wanted to make this video to share that, like, you know, if you are out there trying to figure out like, can you do something like this as a content creator? You totally can. You can totally do it. That's all I really have. I want to say thank you again so much for all your support during this time of me being very spotty with my posting, and I'll hope to share another health update soon, perhaps if I get some new scans in soon of seeing, or any other tips of whatnot. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and comment below if you'd like to see any other like MS related content. I'd be happy to share, even though this isn't something that I've talked about often like on the YouTube side. I'd love to be a point of encouragement, because I know when I was first diagnosed, that was something that I really clung to, was reading stories from other people who were in their 20s or early 30s of just kind of figuring this stuff out by themselves, and what life looks like for them, and knowing that like, it's okay. You're gonna make it. There's a lot of stuff out there now where quality of life is like so much better than what it could have been, you know, 10, 20 years ago even. And so I just feel so blessed, and I know that God is like constantly moving in my life because of the people that He has put into my situation that have encouraged me to keep me going, and who have made all of this be able to be possible. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.